Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Brews and Reviews. I am Knowledge, and if you like hip hop and hops content, go ahead and hit subscribe now. Today, I am reviewing Atmosphere's new song, Blotter Acid Reflux Syndrome, and talking about their new album announcement, as well as the video that came out with this song. Before we ever get started on this, here's a picture of myself, my wife, and Slug, just so you know my credentials. And I am sipping on an Odell Brewing Company Wick-Kissed White. That's a grapefruit white ale, very unique, coming in at an even 5%. This is somewhat of a psychedelic can, so let's get into this psychedelic song and video. So the new album, which Atmosphere announced this week, is called The Day After Halloween. It's very fittingly going to be released on October 30th. And Atmosphere has been very busy lately. They're usually perpetual tours, so you see what they're doing now. They're just stuck inside making music since they're unable to tour. This is actually the third release in less than 12 months. We got Whenever very, very late in December of 2019. And then back in August, we got the criminally slept on Felt for You, which was basically Atmosphere together with Murs, because Ant produced this particular Felt project. And I feel like Felt for You is slipping under the radar. Don't let it slip. That's a great album, and it's at the top of the Felt albums for me. Go and check that out. If nothing else, check out the song with The Grouch and Aesop Rock. The statement that they made about this new album, The Day After Halloween, is very intriguing. Here's part of the statement. They said, "In a year that seems to have gone sideways, Atmosphere is leaning into an alternate reality, offering an album loosely conceptualized around the life of a visual artist living in an antiquated surveillance state." With that statement, we know that this is going to be a concept album, and I'm very excited now, just after hearing this statement on what this album could be about. Now, don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed Atmosphere's last couple projects, and remember my credentials when I say this, but lately it's become somewhat formulaic, still good music, but they've just been around for so long that the things they've been releasing are really nothing new versus what we've heard from them in the past. So a concept album with a dark theme, I think, is the perfect direction to take at this point for Slug to get outside of what he calls dad rap and rapping about his personal life and getting into more of a character. And I think a lot of his personality and his personal life will still seep through this character as we hear from this first single, which I'll get into in a minute. But still, it's nice to get a fresh take from the group. And speaking of dark themes, this video is a case in point for what they're trying to do and taking this off in a wild direction. The song is called Blotter Acid Reflux Syndrome, which we also can see is a backronym for the word bars. And Slug holds true to that, spitting nothing but bars, 3 verses, no chorus on this song. Besides being a backronym for bars, this title also makes you think that he's talking about this blotter acid having a comeback or a reflux. So that could mean several things. One thing is maybe Sean is saying that he's bringing his trippy style of lyrics back. Maybe also it means that acid and psychedelics are going to have to be more prevalent in society for people to cope with the dystopia that we're about to enter. And it could also be like an acid flashback. Flashback is something experienced by people who've done LSD in the past, supposedly. So with the reflux, that's like that acid trip coming back. And Slug could even be saying that he's experiencing a flashback during this song or during this album, which makes sense because he flashes back to some old hip-hop lyrics that he interpolates into this song, which I'll get into a little bit later. The video and lyrics are both what you would call trippy, and the video itself is just disgusting. There's really no other way to say that, but still, it's very creative and something something that's intriguing and really pulls you into this song and this vision that these artists have for this concept album. In the video, we are literally seeing how sausage is made. We're seeing brain surgeries juxtaposed with images of somebody cutting a ham. We're seeing other brains on a table getting sliced through at the same time, thinking about that ham. Definitely don't eat when you're watching this video. You might not be able to eat ham for a little while after. In fact, don't watch this video on acid either. You're sure to have a bad trip. The video also has some voiceovers and clips from old news reports talking about LSD, adding to the theme. And the whole time I'm watching like somebody playing the violin with their brain getting worked on, and I'm thinking, are they doing tests by cutting people's heads open and seeing how they react to acid, or what exactly is going on here? The video doesn't completely explain what these clips are. I think some of them are out of context, but this is a good standalone piece of art, something in the vein of maybe A Clockwork Orange or Requiem of a Dream style of darkness. The beat is really signature Ant, and as much work as these guys have put together and as much production as I've heard Ant do over the years, we could never get tired of Ant's production. It's always great. Any Ant type beat or atmosphere type beat still works. It comes in with a drawn out organ and some resonant drums and a bass line with some spacey sounds in the background. There's a little effect on Sean's first words coming in, all adding to the trippy feel. As do his very first words of the verse, which definitely sound like the ponderings of somebody who's opened the doors of perception or think they have through acid, when he says, "Yesterday, I saw two houseflies going at it in the bathroom like a couple of barflies. It was disgusting, but not because of the fucking. It's just a random thought I had that everyone's an offspring of something. That's a whole lot of bacteria."
Like, what if I'm just nothing but bacteria? Dude, you blew my mind, man.
He gets less gross and a little more poetic a little bit later in the verse where he says, "We in the shadow of the shade of the moonlight. Let's say good night while it's still a good night, all right?" The shadow of the shade of the moonlight could mean the very final days before the permanent darkness descends. And with these lines, he's saying that we are almost at the end of the world. And let's just end it now while we can still have a good night. And these may be some of the deepest lines that we've heard from Slug in a while. And while there is no chorus, there is a refrain with Slug saying, "I've got so much trouble on my mind." And this, of course, is from Public Enemy's Welcome to the Terror Dome. And one thing that we love about Slug is he loves hip hop, and he incorporates all of those old classic songs that he probably grew up listening to and appreciated, but he works it into the theme of his own album, and he's not just picking these random lyrics because he's a fan of Public Enemy. It's like Welcome to the Terror Dome. He's talking about a dystopia, so it's very fitting for this dystopian context. Verse 3 shows Slug, the rapper, shining through this character that he's created, and I know somebody who's as personal in his lyrics as Slug couldn't separate himself from the character completely. He says, "I can't help but to think back before the shrink wrap, back before the sound man would sabotage with feedback. All I wanted was to be a part of something larger." So back before his success in rap and before his decades in this music career and before there was shrink wrap covering his CDs, he just wanted to be a part of the culture and the movement. And he's saying that despite all his success, he didn't necessarily achieve his original goal. And he explains why that is a little further towards the end of the song. He says, "And it's my darkest parts that seem to get all the shine. That's when I start my departure, then I remember the rhyme." nice irony in words, the darkest parts getting the shine, but this is also Slug admitting that maybe he has become this character when he gets out on stage and people are expecting one thing from him and he feels obligated to reveal that part of himself. This is a welcome change in Atmosphere's recent musical style. While there are many pieces of Slug within this, the self-deprecation, the tumultuous relationships, the haywire emotions, I like that he's presenting it through the lens of this character. They paint a really good picture with this one. With or without the video, I can see what the album is really going to be about. That dystopian setting that they're creating is already starting to take shape just because of this song. Great single to get us ready for the album. I can't wait to hear The Day Before Halloween on October 30th. Thank you for watching my review. If you liked this, go ahead and hit like now and hit me up in the comments. If you didn't like it, also let me know why in the comments. You can subscribe to my channel for more hip-hop and hops related content. The link is popping up right now. And on the other side, there's some links to some other videos that I've done. I drop hip-hop and hops related content consistently. So I look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, keep buzzing.